To No One I Owe is the song about vagabonds and travelers in general. And actually, when Sophia was traveling, she also faced a lot of misunderstanding from, for example, women of her time, from people in her homeland, because back then, like, a woman was mostly a person who was raising children and helping in the household. People didn't understand why she wanted, to pack her luggage and travel somewhere. And also, it's interesting that wherever she came, she was really well accepted by everybody. People liked her character, and often they asked her to stay with them. At the same time, even though she wanted to stay with them in most cases, and she found something that attached her to the places she visited, she still always packed her stuff and went further. And this is what is also reflected in this song. In this particular song, we also added a little bit of Ukrainian language, like two paragraphs are in Ukrainian, again to reflect that she is a Ukrainian woman. And it's also interesting, like, a part of this song is about a case when she was attending one of the dinners, like a very festive dinner in one of the countries she traveled to, and she was presented, to the guests as some kind of fairy tale from Ukraine. And in Ukrainian it's called "Казка з України," and I used these words in this song, to also, like, reflect her travels and take some words that she actually wrote. And when I was writing lyrics for this album, I actually read, like, the travelogues that are available out there. Sadly, not all of them, but still, like, I was literally, like, I used this notebook to write down the phrases that I liked most, and maybe some stories that I wanted to use in the lyrics. And basically then, when I was listening to the demos, I just picked up the phrases that were most suitable. Sometimes I translated them into English language, sometimes I left them as they are in Ukrainian. And that is why when you're hearing lyrics to this album, you're also hearing some words written in particular by Sofia Jablonska. Incurable Disease is probably my favorite song on this album because it's also very personal to me. I find a lot of similarities between Sofia and myself because I also love traveling a lot, and it's actually, like, my biggest inspiration in this life. Incurable Disease is not a song about a pandemic, but about an incurable disease and passion of Sofia to the sea and everything marine. When she was traveling in the 20th century, she often traveled by ships of different sizes, like small boats, huge liners, and she always described her huge passion for being on the waves, on how actually each boat operated, how it functioned, how marine people were operating the vessel, what they are thinking about, like, long distance travels and not being able to touch the ground, and so on and so forth. Yeah, so this song is a little bit philosophical. So basically it describes the passion of Sofia and my passion for the sea, and it tells that it's actually an incurable and also contagious disease. It's interesting that in this song we have several choruses, and the first one starts with shaping dreams about unseen lands, and it gives us hope that Sofia is going to travel somewhere and discover new lands. And the last one, it differs, and it says living dreams about unseen lands. I left it intentionally to show that Sofia's passion for the sea, incurable disease, is so strong that she doesn't want to leave the ship. She just wants to stay in the sea and always be a marine person and never see the lands unseen. Nomad's Luck is the first song that we dropped for this album, and it tells about all the dangers and risks of travels that Sophia faced when she was on her trips. And some words that I use in these lyrics are actual things that she faced in her travels. For example, viper eaters take a bite, forgetting they are not immortal. When she was visiting Morocco, there was some kind of attraction, so to say, where people were playing with snakes, like venomous snakes, and when the snake wasn't following their orders to cheer up the crowd, they killed it and basically ate it. Super dangerous, and I don't know what they were thinking about, but again, people and different ways of entertaining other people. Or maybe the phrase toxic plants they never mentioned in the textbooks. When she was traveling, for example, to some distant islands like Bora Bora, or when she was visiting Indonesia, there were always some plants that she didn't know about, and sometimes she couldn't even find them in the books about the local nature, and sometimes even the natives didn't know about those plants. And I remember a story when she was she liked a banana tree, and she decided to take it with her, like to the place where she was living. And yeah, she just picked it up, and she was coming home, and she didn't see a snake that was hidden in the leaves of this banana tree. And the snake bit her, and it was a venomous snake, and it was just a miracle that there was some kind of a native with her that knew what to do, and he actually helped her. But this is like one of the cases in which Sophia could just, you know, die in the middle of her travel. Whatever she was facing, she was still very excited to discover new lands. And it's also so interesting that she describes all these cases with such ease, as if nothing is happening. And sometimes I was reading, you know, one page, and within one page of her travelogue you could find out about like 5 times that she could have died or could have been killed, you know. So yeah, she was a very brave and fascinating woman to me. And in Nomad's Luck, to sum it up, I also make my own take on the danger of traveling, and I say that time is the only danger that Sophia and any other traveler cannot defy.